Hello, everybody. Sean will be here in a moment, but we are going to be doing another reading sprint. And Christy just got back from Japan.
Yeah.
So she's telling us a little bit about that. Sarah, I just wait. What is your name? Because I'm reading Green Rider, not Apothecary Diaries.
wait. I should change it because not to something different. But my goal was Sarragan, as in Kerrigan from Green Rider.
Ah,
Sarah. I guess it works. I was gonna say I should put an I in there, but maybe not.
I thought you meant like you're Sarah again.
No.
Really quick, now that Sean is here, I'm going to switch to our other internet. So, Sean, take over for a sec.
Hi, everybody. How's everyone doing today? So you are not reading Apothecary Diaries.
I'm not.
Betrayal. But I'm also not reading Apothecary Diaries, so yeah.
You're also not? What are you reading then?
I'm reading In the Woods by Tana French.
I actually want to read that.
So far, it's pretty good. It's all right.
Nice.
I'm hoping to read a Tana French book with him sometime this fall. Because the series isn't necessarily one where you have to read all the books. Correct, Sean?
Correct.
So, hoping to get around to one of them. We'll see. I've never read one well, I didn't even know about them until Sean said. But Christy, tell us more about your Japan trip. You were sick, which is awful that you got sick on the trip.
Yeah, I was sick for the majority of the trip. I had the whole works, fever, cough, sore throat. So it's nice that in Japan, wearing a mask is like so normalized. So you can still find masks like everywhere, like in a convenience store and a drugstore. So I got a whole bunch of those and I was just wearing masks the whole time. Which was very hot. I don't know how much it translates to in Fahrenheit, but there was not a single day where the temperature was below 35.
Let's look it up.
Oh God.
You said convenience store, but I thought you said a comedian store. And I thought, how interesting. What is a comedian store in Japan? But
did you say 35?
Yeah.
Celsius?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hot. That's 95.
wow, that is hot.
I feel like you have told me Arizona gets hotter though.
It does. Yeah. It's hotter right now.
Japan's
like in the 100s,
isn't it?
Yeah. So
it is currently 100 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah. In the summer, it's pretty common to get up to like 112 is pretty normal. I would say 120 is a little high. But I don't
think we had a 120 this year.
I don't think
we had
so.
a 120 day. Yeah.
So 112 is apparently about 44.5 degrees Celsius.
Oh my God. I would die.
It's pretty awful. Yeah. I mean, even right now, it's not the best. Arizona's been having a lot of storms. Have you seen a lot of news outlets actually were posting our recent dust storm where it looks like that scene in The Mummy where all the dirt and sand comes through? Anyway, it looks like the apocalypse. But we had one recently. We've actually had a little bit of a monsoon the last few weeks. But that just makes everything kind of muggy on top of already being really hot. And you're like, the one thing we've got going for us is that it's dry. So the only joy I have about when we do get those is if they bring rain, then I'm like, the plants will be happy. And we don't have to go outside and water because then the plants just get watered that way. But it has been kind of muggy. It's no fun. I keep bemoaning the fact that it's still so hot because, I already do anyway, but now it's September. So in my head, it's like, it should be cooler now, but it's not.
I was suffering with you in the heat.
What's the hottest you've been in before?
Probably LA, or I don't know, either LA in July or this time in Japan.
LA in July is not great.
Yeah. I keep going to these places during like the worst times of the year.
I mean,
yeah, Japan in summer, never again.
is that normal for it to be that hot?
I do think it's usually pretty hot, but I was talking to another friend in Japan, and she was like, "This year is worse than usual."
Okay. Yeah, because I don't know if I'd ever heard it was quite that hot. And does it? I would think it depends on where in Japan you are.
Yeah, we were in Tokyo and Kyoto. Both areas were pretty much the same. I think probably, I don't know, Hokkaido, like with the north area. I don't know how much I still think it gets pretty hot.
Do you think it gets hotter in the cities though, because of all the like there's concrete and asphalt and all that stuff and all the buildings and all the people?
Oh yeah, probably, because like usually when you're near the water, there's like that, I don't know if it's called like lake effect or whatever, that kind of tempers the temperature a little bit. But yeah, we weren't anywhere near. Actually, hold on. I remember seeing water when we were on the bullet train, but I don't know where that was.
You had brain fog.
I want to interject and say I would not rather be playing pickleball. I'm very happy to be with you guys, but when I took a drink, it looked like I was like, oh, I was really like showing it off. So I just want to clarify. Perfectly happy to be here. Excited to be here.
You gave me a pickleball cup for our smoothies this morning.
That's true, I did.
What did it say? Like carry on and pickle on or something like that. And instead of an O, it's a pickleball. Anyway, Christy, what was your favorite part of the trip?
Too many things. I don't want to go on too much about my trip because I don't want to take up too much time. But like when we're offline or something, I can tell you guys like way more detail. But in Tokyo, we literally spent pretty much the entire time shopping. Like that's happy anniversary, by the way. We spent the entire time shopping. Shibuya 109 is amazing. Like as soon as I step into, it's like kind of like a mall with like multiple floors. And as soon as I stepped into there, I was like, I'm in love. I want to live here. All the clothes are exactly my style. Yeah, and then we went to Kyoto, and Kyoto is really nice because it's got a lot more like cultural stuff, and they have all of these like little like shopping streets where on one street we would spend an entire day just on that street because there's so many like small shops that have a lot of like that sell a lot of traditional things, not just souvenirs but also just like all sorts of things, and we would just get sucked into each one and be like, "Oh, what's this?" And like spend an hour just in one store.
That's so fun though, and it's fun that you had friends that felt similar. It wasn't like one friend wanted to do this, another friend wanted to go here. You all were having a good time.
Yeah, I know. And also, like these shopping streets, like everything is so varied, so there's something to cater to everyone's interests. Like there's one store we saw that's specialized. Like the whole store specialized in walking canes.
Oh my God. Were there some pretty fabulous walking canes then?
We didn't go into that one specifically, but just walking past, we're like, oh my God, it's just walking canes. That's all they sell.
Well, doesn't Japan officially is it Japan that has the highest population of people over the age of 100 right now?
I think don't they have like one of the oldest populations in general?
I think so.
Do you think that's why?
Maybe.
Or they just people really like
well, people do walk a lot there.
Yeah. I was actually curious since we're planning on, a hangout where you two and Sophia come to Arizona. But it made me curious, how much do you drive?
I was actually wondering that also.
Wait, how much do I what?
Drive.
Like drive?
Yeah.
Right now, not at all.
Okay. I'm curious the most, I think, about Sophia living in London. Because, well, actually, I do want to know for you, Sarah, because obviously it's very different from state to state, especially West Coast, East Coast. Do you drive? I know you drive a little bit.
All the time. You can't get anywhere here without driving.
Okay. And you're kind of in a rural area, right?
Yeah, I was actually thinking about this earlier when I was like, wait, out of our group, I'm the country bumpkin. Like, like I guess I don't think about it often, but then somebody, like, I'll hear a comment and I'll be like, wait, I have such like a different experience, like, because I don't live, I mean, I live in like a city, but it's not like a city, you know?
Right.
Like, so yeah, there's like Burlington, the biggest city in the state, has 40,000 people.
That's not very many.
No, it's not.
That's so small.
So Phoenix is interesting in that there's the downtown area, which is more city-like, but even as far as cities go, it's not that city-like in comparison to places like New York City, where you have all these skyscrapers and everything. But there's the downtown Phoenix area that just kind of like bleeds into the suburbs of Phoenix, which then bleeds into other cities that are basically suburbs of Phoenix still. So the greater Phoenix metropolitan area tends to be talking about Glendale and Scottsdale and Cave Creek, kind of. Cave Creek is a little further out, and like Gilbert, Tempe, Mesa, Chandler. Like there's all these towns and cities that are on the outskirts surrounding Phoenix, but it's basically all Phoenix. If you talk to somebody who's from somewhere else, they're like, where are you from? Even if you're from one of those other places, you usually just say I'm from Phoenix, or at least I would, just for the sake of, they'll know probably what Phoenix is. They might not know what Chandler is or Mesa is.
Can I put something in perspective?
Yes.
The population of Mesa, Arizona, which I think of as not a terribly large suburb of Phoenix, it's pretty big. 517,000 people.
The entire state of Vermont has just over 600,000 people in it.
Wait, what?
Well, Vermont's pretty small in general, like land.
I gotta move to Vermont. Right? What are we doing out here, man? All I know,
we're gonna move that far. We're gonna move out of the country.
No, but Toronto is the same way, where it's like there's Toronto, the city, but then there's like areas outside of Toronto that they call the Greater Toronto Area, or the GTA. And I'm from one of those areas, but I would just say like I'm from Toronto.
Right. Yeah, we are technically Phoenix. We're North Phoenix, which basically means we're outside of the downtown area on the northern end. But I grew up, if this makes you feel a little, well, probably not. It got a lot bigger very quickly. But I grew up in what is now considered a very, very wealthy area, which would be Gilbert, Arizona. And Gilbert used to be a farming town. It was, I think, the alfalfa capital of the world. And so my dad, he was born in 1946. His stepdad, I think, had been born in Gilbert, like when nothing was here. And they had a picture of Gilbert, and it was just like what you imagine in Westerns whenever they have the set of an old saloon and, like that kind of thing, and people bringing up their horses. That's what Gilbert was, basically. It was like a stopping place for your horses. Not that long ago. But my parents, so my dad was from Arizona, but him and my mom lived in California when my sister was first born, and they moved back to Arizona, and then I was born here. But they moved specifically to Gilbert because they wanted to get away from all of the craziness that was California and the big population. They lived in Riverside. And then all of a sudden, Gilbert became, I think, the fastest growing town in, I think, the US specifically. And then it had a problem of there was too many houses and not enough shops. So it's like the town wasn't making any money. But you would drive past fields and you could smell the cows and stuff like that. And it's super modernized now, and there's tons of shops. And it very much modeled itself after Scottsdale, which, if you don't know anything about Scottsdale is like the snooty side of Arizona, or that's what it's known to be. And that's what they, I guess, decided, like, we're going to be like that. So, and fun fact,
they're going to be like that, except with like try to keep the farmhouse aesthetic, yes. Though. I feel like Scottsdale is like, we're modern desert. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I was going to add that a fun fact, Gilbert has a very large, or at least when I was growing up, Church of Latter-day Saints population, which, if you don't know that phrase, that's referring to Mormons. So there's like a Mormon church on every corner in Gilbert. So there's also that element to it. And there's a temple. There's a temple in Mesa. There's a temple in Gilbert that was built since the time I've been alive. There is one in Tucson as well now, right, Sean? Is the Tucson one older, or are there two in Tucson?
You're talking about you said a temple?
Yeah,
I think there's just one.
just one.
But I don't know. I said that way too confidently. I know of one. Yeah.
So it's an interesting mix, but I think Sean, your interjection there was a good thing to add. That it did try to have that farmhouse charm. I feel like it's kind of Chip and Joanna Gaines looking.
That's a very good way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of shiplap is used.
Yeah. Let's see. Fun fact, Arizona is my favorite drink. It's funny you didn't mention so many times your essay. Photo of Arizona is my first thought.
Can I say something sort of related to that about hearing something and it taking a second? Not having to do with this conversation at all, but I don't remember why, but we have like at my work, there's like an automatic floor cleaner, like it's a little robot, and we named it Irma at some point. And now there's a lady who works at our store named Irma. And so when people say Irma, my first thought is the robot. Like they're like, "Oh, Irma's not here." I'm like, "No, it's in the back. What are you talking about? Irma's definitely here." And I'm like, "Oh wait, Irma the person."
Does she know that?
She does not know that, as far as I'm aware, that Irma is also a robot.
Why did you guys name her Irma? Her.
Well, it's funny. We do refer to her as she and her, so I don't know. But I think we had some acronym that I can't remember. It was like, something stupid.
Electric, rotating.
Roomba.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what it was, but yeah.
Well, that's gonna be awkward if she doesn't know, because then someone is like, oh, someone barfed in this corner. Oh, just get Irma to do it. She'll be like, what?
Well, it is funny. Like sometimes I'm like, oh, Irma's stuck in a corner, and you're like, oh, the robot. Okay.
That would be pretty funny. She's just standing there. That'd be great, though. I mean, what's the weirdest thing that you've given a name to? The most random inanimate object that you've named or given some kind of level of humanity?
Are you asking me specifically?
The group.
Oh, I have no idea. Yeah, I don't know.
It's not me, but my mom loves a tablet. Actually, my tablet that I'm going to read on is her old tablet. And so she has named all of them Tabby.
Oh, that's so cute.
She gets a new tablet like every 2 years or whatever, because she is pretty rough on it. So they're all named Tabby.
Molly for your mop is adorable. And Tabby just makes me think of a tabby cat now. Not an inanimate object, but there was a Roadrunner when we lived in this condo that was always around. And I don't know if it was the same Roadrunner or if there was just a lot of Roadrunners, but I think it was the same one. It always kind of hung out in this spot. And I named it Gary. I don't know why. I just thought Gary was a fitting name for I don't even know if it was a boy Roadrunner, but if it wasn't, her name was Gary. It was really cute. It always made me happy because that particular condo, we lived right next to this walking trail that was kind of like, it would run through the sort of back of the neighborhood, and then you could cross the street and it would keep going. We have a lot of things like that in Arizona, especially around canals. And so sometimes you would see it running down this walking path. And I don't know, whenever animals use human-made paths like a human, I always think it's especially cute. It's like when we went to Glacier National Park and we were on this, we were hiking. And so it's mostly mountainous terrain, except for there was this kind of little area that was almost like wood planks walkway. And this deer started walking on that. But I think the deer, I think I've told this story before. I think the deer started to do that because there was a bear nearby. And I think that the deer was like, I'm going to get in with all these people so that if the bear comes around, it's going to get one of them before it gets me. But it was really cute just having it walk along and cross through. Now, Christy, what's something you've named? Or something someone has named?
Like I name all my stuffed animals. But there's this one place in a it's like a in a grocery store. There's this place where people make these taiyakis. You guys know what taiyaki is?
Mhm.
Oh, it's this like Japanese dessert that's basically like a pancake with filling inside in the shape of a fish.
Oh,
You've definitely seen it in anime. Usually the filling is like red bean or custard. It's like Japanese or Korean. This specific grocery store is Korean, and in it they make taiyakis, and then it's called Kevin's taiyakis. So now anytime I see a taiyaki, I don't call it taiyaki, I just call it a Kevin.
I'm gonna
It's
share.
like, I feel like having a Kevin right now.
I'm gonna share a picture in case somebody hasn't seen it before. I specifically looked up. Well, ice cream came up, so I just went with it. Looks pretty good.
That's one of the like variations, but the one in the second row, the second one in the second row, yeah, that one, that's more of like
Okay.
what like, traditional taiyaki is. Which,
Why
by
are
the
they
way,
in
I
the
had
shape of
them
a
in
fish?
Japan and it was delicious.
Do you know why they have the fish shape?
I don't know why. Just for fun.
So back in the day, me and Sean and our friend had themed parties, as we've talked about before. And for some reason, we decided Sean's birthday party would be dinosaur themed. Most of us chose our theme. I don't know why we chose for Sean to do a dinosaur themed party. But I got him a thing for pancakes, and there's like it's like mini pancake maker, and they all have little dinosaur designs on them. So when you make it, they have that, and I feel like we need to make them again in that, Sean.
We should.
And then one of our friends gave Sean a T-shirt from Jurassic Park where it says "Clever Girl" with the raptor, but it says "Clever Birthday Girl," and I wear it to bed now all the time. I think fish are lucky. Oh, okay, that makes sense. They're so detailed. My wife and I have given names to all of our, so we have. I mean, I feel like that's understandable. Especially with a small child around, it makes sense that you would have the code names. Sean, did you come up with something?
I don't think so. I don't know.
You named your cyst.
Oh, yeah. But he's gone now.
Yes, rest in
He's been
peace.
gone for years.
Share with the good people what you named your cyst.
I named him Seth.
Seth the cyst.
Yeah.
Yes. Why did you go with Seth?
Oh, I don't know.
Would you like to share where the cyst was?
I guess so people don't use their imagination. It was around my nipple.
Yeah, I think somehow using their imaginations, I don't know if they would have even gone with that.
Yeah. I don't know if that's better or worse.
You had to have a mammogram,
I did.
and then they had to extract it. They had to put a needle
You
in
didn't
it.
have to extract it.
Didn't they
They
put a
had to
needle in and
drain
like
it.
suck? Oh, that's what I meant. Sorry.
Yeah, it's way different, okay?
Yeah. But yes, they had to stick a needle in and suck it out, which is disturbing, especially for Sean because he doesn't like needles.
Hey, I didn't get to see it in real life. I watched it on a monitor, and it's actually kind of cool watching it go, because I was numbed up, so I don't know what's happening. I mean, I knew what was happening because I got to watch it on the monitor, but
yeah. Poor you though, when you almost passed out having your blood drawn.
yeah.
I almost passed out the first time I donated blood. But I think that was a mix of I'd never done it before and I also hadn't really eaten that day. So
well, don't they check? Shouldn't they make sure that you've eaten before they take your blood?
It was a school blood donation drive, so I think it was more of just like, all right, next kid. Which now that I'm thinking about it, do they still let kids donate blood? That seems
I don't know, because they had those when I was in high school too. And like I tried to donate, but I think I was just so nervous and my heart was pounding and they're like, we can't do this. and we had been promised free pizza if we donated, so I was relying on that for lunch, and they're like, well, you can't donate, so you don't get the pizza. And I was like, I tried.
How rude.
Wow.
Give me a
They
kitty
should've
piece
given
of
it to
pizza.
Well, that's something I named, actually, speaking of. So I have O negative, which is universal blood type. And I mean, I don't know anything about the medical field, but I was told that my blood also can be used on preemie babies, which is not something everybody's blood can be used for. So they always, I used to donate blood more often, but they would always call me asking me to come and donate blood and like remind me like, oh, would you like to save lives? Which is like, I get it. They need blood. But this was when I was in college and I was busy all the time. And it's like, I didn't really, because you kind of have to like set aside time, you know, especially if you happen to get woozy or something. But so I started naming their number on my phone as vampire, like vampires. So that when I would see it, but they had a lot of different phone numbers. So my college laptop's name was Deborah. No particular reason. It just felt right. See, that was me with Gary. Sometimes it's just the name just comes to you. Can I say my favorite part about The Sims was making the characters? So I feel like naming things is something, it's some offset of that. I think it's fun. Anyway, what's everybody reading? We kind of touched on this before, but I think Sarah's is the biggest mystery.
Yes, I'm reading. Oh, I was like, what's even the name of this book? It's Falling in a Sea of Stars. Is that what it's called? I really don't like the title. But it's the 8th book in the Green Rider series, and it comes out at the end of the month. So I got an e-arc of it, and I'm very excited.
Oh.
Because I've been waiting to see what happens next. So
How long has this series been going on? I feel like it's been forever.
I think it's been, has it been almost 30 years? Yeah. I think in 97 the first one was published.
Dang.
So
That's
we'll see
exciting.
when it ends.
You said, didn't you say that in their newsletter or something that they said there's going to be at least 2 more?
Yeah, so this one was originally supposed to be really long, but I think they broke it up into 2. So hopefully that means that
They'll come out.
9 will be soon. And then she said something on, because I follow her on Patreon, she said something about like making an outline for book 10, and I was like, oh my god, I didn't know there was supposed to be a book 10. So
I feel like Sean gave a weird face at that, like
it's a lot of books and they're not short. So
I was thinking like, oh, I feel bad that I haven't continued on with the series yet. Maybe 2026 will be when I might even reread the first one and keep going. But then knowing that they still wouldn't be all done, I'm like, maybe I should just wait.
I will say at least this one is doing a very good job at like being like, oh, this thing happened, which you should remember from this book. Like it'll kind of like give you a lot of like recap, which I think is good this late in the series.
That is helpful.
I don't want to put anyone in the hot seat, but I'm just curious to know if I'm the most behind on Apothecary Diaries. I finished the 5th one. Is anyone else?
Christy,
I barely started. Okay. I didn't read a single thing during my entire trip.
I was wondering if that would happen.
I barely read anything.
You were enjoying your time and you were sick. So
yeah.
Oh, you're not the most on book 4. Okay, so I have to say, Christy and Sarah know this because unless you haven't listened to the message, Christy, but I actually,
if it's one that you sent in the last few days, I haven't listened to any.
Okay, this isn't like a spoiler or anything, but I just finally had my Jinshi video essay go up today. I wrote the essay back in July, did the voiceover at the very beginning of August when I was dog sitting for my mom, and I only just finally finished editing. And in it, I say like I've only just started the light novel, so like no spoilers. So that went up today. I'm on volume 12 now.
What?
I know, I'm sorry.
Betrayal.
John's like, you can't read ahead. I'm like, I'm the host. I can do whatever I want. Okay. So obviously I read up through 8. And you remember when Sarah said that she had read all the way through 8 and had started 9. There's a reason. There's a reason why. When you get to the end of 8, you're going to want to know what happens shortly after. And so I did that, and then I was like, well, I'll just keep reading. And then I was very interested in what was being set up in 9. And then 10 had been my favorite. And then 11 happened, and I was like, what the heck? Because 11 has been my favorite of the whole series, like took it to a new high for me. I loved 11. 11 has been my favorite, and for totally unexpected reasons. And I can't say anything else, and it's really killing me. Yesterday, Sean, because I stayed up really late Monday. I'm all confused because of this. I stayed up really late because I wasn't planning on reading through the end of 11. I was like, I'll just read some. I had already started it, but I was like, I'll just read a little bit more before I go to sleep. And then I stayed up the whole night because I couldn't put it down. And I texted Sean, and I was like, hey, just a heads up, I probably won't see you in the morning because it's like 2:00. And I accidentally finished Apothecary Diaries Volume 11. It was so good. And then when he came home from work, we were talking, and like I was making dinner or doing dishes or something. And I just looked at him in the middle of us talking about something else. I was like, nobody in my life knows about what happens in Volume 11, and it's really tough. Like I was pouting and being really dramatic. I was like, nobody knows. And he's like, he just kind of stared, and he's like, I'm sorry. And gave me a hug. So I was being very dramatic, but it's so good. It's so good. And I understand some things that I've heard people say, and I can't even say what that is because it'll reveal stuff. And then also, I just can't say anything.
I'm so glad to not be the only one who's ahead at all. Like,
wait, so how far are you now, Sarah?
I haven't started rereading.
Okay. So now Elle knows how Sarah felt.
Yes.
But how are you gonna go back, like, Elle, are you gonna go back and reread like 8 to make sure that you know where we left off?
Oh, I know where we left off. It's a very, very clear, Sarah knows, it's a very clear arc ending. I wouldn't even say it's an arc ending. It's just like there's a scene that happens that's like very clear where it leaves. You'll know. She stays on. Sean very sweetly, when the last episode of the second season came out, he was like, you can watch it. It's okay. And I was like, okay, thank you. And then I watched it. And then when he came home, I was like, okay, I rewound it so we can watch it together now. So it was a very kind blessing from Sean. But anyway, so Sean, you've just finished 5. So you're actually the second furthest in this group.
Well, but Sarah's technically read further.
Technically, but I am going to reread them all.
Technically.
Also, Christy, I tabbed the physical copies of 5 and 6 a lot. And then 7 and 8, I took a lot of pictures while reading. I do think that 5 through 8 don't have as clear of an arc as 1 through 4 did. But I do think enough happens that's definitely worth talking about. There's a lot of really great moments. And just a lot of new characters that are either introduced or characters that were introduced that you only barely saw become a bigger deal. So we'll have a lot of fun talking. And Sean, you were talking about the fact that it's just so fun to not know what's going to happen now.
Mm-hmm.
Since we haven't watched the show. So it'll be all new stuff to talk about. There's one thing I want to mention because in our sprints, we typically talk about
no spoilers.
Specific. And then we'll jump into finally reading. But there's a part where they're like teasing Mao Mao and somebody's drawing and they're like, describe your perfect man. And she's like, I don't know. And she's like, I don't want to do this. And the person's like, I'll ask you questions though. And they're asking like, do you like a softer jaw or a stronger jaw? Like silly things like that. And then they ask like, do you like sharp features or softer features? And then she thinks about like people that have a fox look to their face and how she doesn't like that. And she thinks something like those people could go die in a fire. It was so extreme that I couldn't stop laughing about it. It was very amusing. So that's the only thing I wanted to Well, I want to talk about a lot else. It's the only thing I will say. But anyway, shall we get our Pomodoro started? I made a new one that's 50 minutes, and then there's a 10-minute chat / restroom break, and then another 50 if we want it. Does that sound good to everybody?
Before we start, I want to show you guys something that I got. So this is Apothecary Diaries Volume 1 English, right? And I got the Japanese version. Look at the size difference.
Are you going to try to read any of it in Japanese?
No.
No.
That will take me way too long. But I only got the first volume because I just wanted to collect like first volumes of stuff. I love the size of this. It's just so like handheld.
I have 2 Japanese books and they're also that size, and I'm like, why don't we have more books that size in English?
They're all the same size.
Yes.
Yeah. Like all okay, so I also got the Haikyuu manga. Again, tiny, but like all manga are this size. So you never run into any problems of like, the bookshelves and stuff.
Yeah, even looking at the manga on the shelves over there, there are like all sorts of different heights.
So I'm going to say something, and this is just me being dumb. So when it comes to comic books, I like bigger. Like you can see behind me, there's like some really tall special editions. But then DC started coming out with like some of their classic comics, like almost manga size, I think, to probably try to get like the manga crowd into it. And as soon as I saw those, I thought, I kind of want that. Even though I have giant versions of like everyone, I'm like, well, it'd be kind of cool to have a handheld version just in case.
It's kind of like the Sailor Moon. Are they called the Eternal editions? I think that's what they're called. I have those, but then they have the ones that are like kind of shorter, and the same thing. I'm like, I kind of like that too, though. It's consumerism, guys.
We're not ready for that conversation.
Officially, though, are we ready for reading?
I have to decide what I'm reading because I think my Apothecary ebook got returned and I don't know if it's available.
I was going to say, check it back out. But also, you're going to want to look at the translation differences. They're pretty intense.
Noted.
Only one so far, really, but still. It's pretty astounding how many things there are.
Yeah, volume 5's not available.
No.
Oh no, Christy. What are you gonna do?
I'll find something to read on my Kindle. I was in the middle of the 3-body problem.
Oh,
I was reading that on the plane, so probably continue that one.
Nice. Alrighty. Well, this is gonna be for 50 minutes, so it's a longer one. And there's music. Feel free to mute it if you're not into the music while it's playing. And there's a little minute start for like 30 minutes. See everybody. Happy reading.
Hello.
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 How is everyone's reading?
It was good.
Yeah. Christy, you said you were continuing on with the Free Body problem?
Yeah, I got about 20 pages. And then I was reading on my Kindle, and then I remember that I actually have the physical book. It was right here. So I'm like, oh, I'll just read it physically.
How far are you in it?
I am about almost a third, and I still have no idea where this story is going. Like, it's interesting though, but I'm like, I don't know how any of this is connected and what the main plot is. So I'm actually buddy reading this with the same friends that I went to Japan with. We're gonna have like we're trying out like a book club thing. We're gonna meet up in person and like have discussions and stuff. So this is our first pick, and not giving away any spoilers. By the way, I hear an echo. Is that just me?
No, it's not just you. I'm trying to figure out. Oh, Sarah, I think it's you.
Sarah, go for it.
Yeah, I just muted you and it sounds much better. Sorry. Let's see. Maybe you just needed to move. Anyway, sorry, Christy, you're saying you and your friend are doing. Yeah.
So I'm not giving away any spoilers, but there's this scene where it's like this game where kind of like an apocalypse thing happens, but in between apocalypses, the people would dehydrate themselves. So they basically like become these shriveled husks. And they get like rolled up and stored away until like the apocalypse thing is over, and then they would rehydrate and become like whole people again. So when that happens, there's a king who tells everyone, he's like, rehydrate. So then the whole time we were in Japan, because it was so hot and we had to drink a lot of water, we would always like just go like, rehydrate.
You know, I really thought this was going to turn into something related to SpongeBob. With how you were saying that, I was like, is this where this is going? This is where a lot of your stories go.
I thought about it. Oh yeah, what? I don't need it.
How many of your friends are participating in your little book club?
4 of us, including me.
That's fun. When you say you're going to meet up, do you mean in person?
Yes.
Aw, that's
the idea. We'll see. None of them are really big readers, so I'm like, I've been trying to get this kind of thing going for years. Hopefully.
I feel like that would be really fun. I almost think it'd be more fun if everybody's, well, I don't know. I'm trying to decide, would it be more fun if everybody's not really readers, because we all have, I feel like, in some fashion been in the book space? Or would it be fun to have people that it feels like are all approaching it in a similar way or something like that? I don't know. Like everybody's really invested in reading.
Yeah.
You know, which I would prefer. But it's fun regardless. Whose pick was it?
Well, I gave like, they were all interested in this kind of like book club idea, but they didn't really have anything specific in mind. So we went to a bookstore and I pointed out some picks and I just gave like suggestions. And then this is the one we all ended up landing on because the show is also out. So then like a couple of them are also interested in watching the show. So
shows do tend to help be the ones I feel like people are inclined toward. Sarah, how was your reading? You said it was good?
It was good, yeah. I got like 7% done in that, so I'm like 30-ish% into the book.
How is it compared to the others in the series?
Well, there were a lot of things at the end of book 7 that were like needing to be addressed. So one of the things just got addressed, which was good, because I was very curious about that. But I don't know, I feel like everything that happens is like there's more to it. Like nothing gets resolved. So I'm like a little bit frustrated because I'm like, okay, we're 8 books in. We have to resolve something. Like, we can't just keep adding problems until there's like this huge problem at the end. Like, I don't know. So I'm a little frustrated, but I'm also enjoying it. And there's a certain relationship in the series that is like,
That's all you need to do. We already know.
Is it like a delicious slow burn?
Yeah.
Okay, but how slow are we talking? Like 8 books
8
in.
books, apparently.
slow.
Okay. I'm interested. Maybe like, 20 years when the 10th book comes out.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll only be like 5 more years until the 10th book comes out.
Sean, how is your reading?
It was good. I read about 30 pages, and I think that only got me to like page 80 something, 83-ish. So we're still in the there's no leads, phase of the mystery where it's like we can't find anything. Nobody's talking. Frustration is boiling over, and I'm like, all right, I'm ready for someone to start talking here so we can get some leads.
That doesn't seem to be your favorite part of any crime book. We got to show them trying and not succeeding part.
It's not even that they're not succeeding. It's just like there's like, I don't know, man. I don't know how she died. That's pretty much where they're at, and you're like, nice. I'm still like, I'm waiting for the autopsy. That's where we're at,
How far in are you total?
Page 83 of, please hold 429.
That's a decent amount in then.
Yeah.
I don't really know. So I've been reading Apothecary Diaries on my iPad.
Bad.
On my iPad, and it says I'm 14% into volume 12. I just started it, but I because it's through the library app and it's not a formal Kindle, I feel like I don't have as many options for the font size, so it's like enormous. It's like 2 paragraphs a page, so I'm constantly clicking, but it's actually kind of nice for if I'm walking on the treadmill or something, because I feel like even with my glasses I still can't see oftentimes, because it's like I would rather have something right in front of my face, because you can put stuff on treadmills, off exercise bikes or whatever. This one's actually big enough where I can like walk and read at the same time. That's another reason why I feel like maybe overread a little bit, is because I'll be like, I can get my steps in and read Apothecary Diaries.
So efficient.
Yeah. So apparently I'm 14% in, but I don't really know what that means, since it says 14% in is 167 pages. It's definitely not, you know what I mean? But
wait, so when you make it that big, how many pages is it total?
It's almost 1,200. And we know they're like 300-page long books, so it's not, even close. But I've been enjoying it quite a bit. I actually feel like, weirdly, I have stopped to like take pictures of stuff and whatnot less often because I'm so invested. But there's the occasional thing where I'm like, I gotta take note of this. This is too good. But because 11, I feel like, was sort of the end of something important. I feel like volume 12 so far is sort of it's getting us more into something new. So right now it's kind of a slower start. But anyway, our 10 minutes is just about up. Are we ready for our second set of 50 minutes? Yeah. Okay. I figured the 10-minute break actually keeps us in line. By that, me in line. Okay. Here it is. Turn the volume back on. Alrighty. See everybody in 50 minutes. Hello. I always like the post sprint, like everybody emerging. How was reading? Pretty good.
Good.
I read about the same amount according to the percentage. So about a quarter of the way through, a little over a quarter of the way through the 12th one. I weirdly didn't think that the 50 minutes felt that much longer than when we read 30 minutes at a time. I don't know why, but
It didn't feel longer to me either.
I don't know why. It must be the music.
It's so soothing.
Did you actually listen with the music, Sean?
Huh?
Did you actually listen with the music?
I did.
Yeah.
Very
How do you-
faintly.
How do you like it compared to the piano one? Because you said typically with the jazz one, you can't have it on because you get distracted, but the piano one works. So how is this one?
It was fine. I barely paid it any mind.
Good. Christy, what do you think of it?
I like the piano one better, but this one's not bad either. I keep the music on because I'm always afraid that if I mute it completely, I'll miss like when it's over, and I'll just be like reading, and then because it's muted, I can't hear if you guys are. So you have to be like, hello.
Just hope that you see out of the corner of your eye wild gestures. Well, at the very least, us going from tiny on the screen to bigger again, I would imagine that kind of helps. You know what I mean? Because we're off in the corner, and the ambiance is yeah. So I feel like that maybe helps too. But I don't know. I've gotten in the habit of having music on while reading, usually with my noise canceling headphones. And now I almost feel like it's weird to not have, because now I almost feel like I get more distracted by regular around the house noises than I do the music. So, but I think the piano one is the best for just background music, because I do think with this one I get the tiniest bit invested in some of the little pieces, but I wanted to try to have variety because I'd already done the little calm jazz one and then I did the calm piano one, so I wanted one that was more fantasy feeling. It took forever though to find like all the tracks and place them and stuff.
How many tracks did you use?
Quite a lot, because they're each pretty short. Most of them are somewhere between 2.5 minutes to 3.5 minutes. So to fill basically 2 hours worth, it takes quite a while. But I do want to make another one that's less for having something on in the background while reading and more just sort of a, you know how people make playlists of like fantasy, like cool upbeat fantasy music, almost more for inspiration for if you're a writer or something. I want to make one for that. But then I want to make another one that we could have as background music. So maybe I'll have to do another kind of calm piano one and just make it longer or add breaks or something.
Yay, more piano. I feel like as I'm reading, I'm not really listening to the music. I barely pay attention, but all the tracks feel like they flow together pretty seamlessly. Like I don't even notice that they're different. It just sounds like one long piece.
That is part of what takes a while, is finding ones where it feels like the tempo or the feeling of the piece, the end of one matches the beginning of another, because some of them don't go. There's specifically, I feel like in the second 50-minute chunk, from the first to the second track is pretty obvious. It's the one that I'm like, I probably could have transitioned, but I was running out of tracks at that point. So I was like, I gotta put something here. That's the one that every time I'm like, ugh. But maybe it's just because I put them all together. So I think it's noticeable, but maybe it's not as noticeable to other people. I don't know.
Well, now that you've mentioned it, we will notice.
Yeah.
It's especially pretty obvious because a lot of the tracks I was trying to find things that sounded like harp, and the first one and the second batch has kind of a slightly more calmer feel, and then all of a sudden like pretty loud plucking, and it's pretty obvious it starts. So if you do listen to it again, you'll probably notice it now. Unless you're in the middle of doing something else, and then hopefully it'll just be on in the background. But anyway, Sean, how was your reading?
It was good. I read another 30-ish pages, and I think I need to delete my name. I'm not Detective Sean. I think I would be kicked off the Dublin Murder Squad. I don't have any leads. I don't know what's going on.
You are assistant Sean.
Yeah.
You follow them carrying all of their stuff for them as they do their investigations.
I'm not. Do they have to carry a lot of stuff?
I don't know.
Yeah.
You're a chauffeur. How about that?
Okay, I could be a chauffeur.
Chauffeur Sean.
Yeah.
What about for you, Sarah?
I read like 6%, I think, this time. I'm almost 40% into the book.
Nice.
There's a ball happening, which is always exciting. I love a ball.
I do think it's funny when people will say like, "Oh, you can tell a book feels YA because there's a ball in it," and you're just like, they're in a lot of adult fantasy books too. Let's be real.
Mistborn.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. A lot of them. I mean, it doesn't bother me at all. It makes sense to have this environment where it feels like everybody's kind of trying to be talking to everyone, saying one thing, but then actually they're saying something else, and then somebody else intervenes, and then they get interrupted, and I feel like it creates for good moments there.
So
Yeah.
far, no ball on this, but
Ah,
it's possible. I mean, anything's possible.
Yeah.
I don't understand what's YA about a ball. Like, adults attend them.
I don't know. I think this was more something I saw when YA was kind of the thing that you poked fun at to differentiate yourself between I'm a serious fantasy reader versus I like fun, frilly fantasy. And not that I subscribe to that idea, but I feel like that was kind of the rhetoric. Now fantasy romance is the thing. Everybody, like, nobody's hating on YA anymore. Everybody's just hating on fantasy romance.
Everyone's now like, I miss YA.
I know. Well, especially because I think now so many adult fantasy romance usually, but there's that always like, is this fantasy romance or is this fantasy thing? But so many of them feel like, oh, this is adult, therefore there's explicit content, or it's all about the lustiness. And YA can have more of the like the sweetness and the kind of more of like that whimsical feel. So I think almost people are feeling nostalgic for that, maybe. I don't know. What's your assessment, Christy, if you've noticed people saying they miss it?
Based on like what I've heard and also the fantasy romance or romanticies that I've read, I do feel like YA just does yearning and angst better. That's what I'm missing in romanticies.
Do you think it's because they go so straight to the lust factor? Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, there's no slow burn anymore.
That's why you were so intrigued by wait.
Yeah. I was literally Googling the other day. I'm like looking for like fantasy romance with yearning. Like I need
With
the
yearning.
yearning. So I downloaded a few titles and we shall see how those recommendations hold up.
If you find any good yearning,
Yeah.
please tell me.
Okay, I have 3 that people keep recommending. One is This Woven Kingdom by Tahara Mafi. So I picked that one up. I'm like 2% in, so I can't tell you anything yet. Another one, okay, I don't remember them now. Oh, the Just Thawed Air. I'm hearing a lot about that one. Have you read that one, Elle?
I DNF'd it pretty quick.
Oh, okay.
It was just the tone of it and the writing wasn't necessarily working for me, but that doesn't mean obviously that what people have recommended it for isn't. I wouldn't know. I didn't get far enough in.
Okay. I just hear that one is like true enemies to lovers, and I'm like, okay, we need that again.
What was the third one? Did you already say it?
I don't remember.
Oh.
So look at the recommendations. I know one of them people have been recommending The Night and the Moth a lot.
I'm not a fan.
I'm sensing a pattern here.
I don't know if I agree with that being yearning. It kind of feels like the typical fantasy romance / romantasy sort of way things play out.
I don't know if this is a controversial take or not, but I feel like I'm never going to find what I want in a romantasy story because it's always going to be prioritizing the romance much more than I want it to be. So, like, I just need fantasy with a sprinkle. A little tiny sprinkle of romance.
Which I guess that does indicate that fantasy romance is doing what it's meant to, which is, like you said, put the romance first. That's why I think like the way people have differentiated fantasy romance and romantasy as like fantasy romance does lead with the romance, whereas romantasy is supposed to be more of a hybrid. And I'm like, okay, well, if we can have more people differentiating between the two, maybe there's a chance that we could actually narrow down what we're looking for a little bit easier. But I don't know. It's still, I'm still giving the genre like time to find its footing and then stop being all about these specific tropes and things like that. But I'm currently with you in the stage of like, I keep trying. And, like, it's not working. I want it to work.
Yeah. I went to Barnes & Noble for the first time the other day in like a long time. And I was looking at the fantasy section and I was like, this is crazy because this does not look how I remember it looking. Like, just all of the like romantasy covers in there. I was just like, this is crazy.
Sean, does the one that we go to on occasion separate them?
I don't know.
The one at Happy Valley. I feel like that one does, but maybe I'm misremembering. They do have Throne of Glass and like ACOTAR in the fantasy section, but I feel like there are some that end up in a different spot. But
I feel
yeah,
like they have their own table now.
Yeah, there's
like
that.
promotional stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I want it to. I also, I'm not the absolute pickiest when it comes to how formal the writing is or how beautiful the writing is, but I want it to be just a little prettier in a lot of the fantasy romance. You know what I mean? Maybe I just haven't picked up the ones that have. I will say, and I can't remember if you've read it, Christy, but I recently finished. I always forget something with cadence, but A River Enchanted and a Fire Endless, that duology by Rebecca Ross. I know you didn't love when you started Divine Rivals, but this is adult, or at the very least new adult, but I think it's considered adult.
I haven't read it.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know it was adult.
It's adult, and I think maybe try that one. I quite liked the duology as a whole, and I thought the writing was really quite beautiful. I liked the way that the characters were written in it too. Like there's a few different perspectives, and one of the perspectives, he was a widow and then remarried. It's very kind of almost like historical fantasy. So the woman that he married, she helps raise his daughter with him, and they definitely get along, but it's a very unconventional couple to see in a story because you're kind of like, are they starting to fall in love even though they're already married? You know, that kind of thing. And they both have a shared love for the little girl. And I'm like, oh, this is different. Not that they're the only perspective in the story, and that's not the point of the story, but I did enjoy seeing that because it's so different from what you typically have. So that was kind of different. That was a different sort of setup. Maybe
Wait, are they the main couple or not the main couple?
I would say there's kind of like two main couples in the story that are sort of the main characters of the book. Those two are slightly older, and then the other two are slightly younger. And the dynamics between the two different couples feel different from each other too. So it's not like you have like the same dynamic between both, and then it feels like interchangeable. It doesn't have that at all, in my opinion. They all have different personalities, which I liked. So maybe
I feel like I'm pretty picky about writing style. Like if I pick up a book and it's like Fourth Wing writing style,
yeah,
I'm like instantly no. Like I cannot tell you the whiplash I had when I went into Fourth Wing. I'm like, I'm right. Okay, sorry. I know we dunk on Fourth Wing a lot, but I just can't. Like when I was reading it, I'm like, okay, let's go. Epic fantasy. I'm expecting, just cool world building and like adult characters, and then the writing instantly, I was like, no, I was lied to.
Did you finish it?
I got 8% in.
No, then you can't even talk.
I don't know if I realized you only read 8%.
I only read 8%. I feel like as soon as there was that one line that I quote all the time where she's describing Xaden. He's like, he's so hot, scorching hot, get you in trouble and you like it kind of hot. I was like, what is this? Sorry.
I know. Well, I still can't get over the part where she thinks like where it says like her whole head tingled or something like that, which I'm just like, okay. I don't know. Sean, you've never made my whole head.
Are you even in love if your whole head doesn't tingle?
Yeah. It's just such an odd, I mean, it's fine. I will say, even though it didn't work for me, and I agree, I'm not a fan of that writing style, there is something to be said of certain writing styles that just feel like they own Sean. My head is filled with happiness and joy. Come back. Anyway, I do feel like there's something kind of very specific about stories that just embrace how over the top they are. And like sometimes I can get on board, but it just depends. I think the only one that's ever accomplished being like really overly stupid at times is Gideon the Ninth, which I know you also like, because the writing is so good. So when it's really stupid, the juxtaposition's really funny, I think.
Yeah.
Like I remember sending Sean this description that's all lush and beautiful, followed by I think it's Gideon herself that thinks like, what a D-bag or something like that about somebody like immediately after, and it's so jarring. But that wouldn't necessarily always work if I saw that in a fantasy story or sci fantasy. But in that instance, because it seems so self-aware and intentional, and it's like, it's not always the same exact joke. Like there's a part where there's some kid that's like eyeing Gideon's muscles and she just like looks over and like flexes a little bit and I don't know, just that vibe is a lot of fun to me. My only complaint, as much as I love the cover art, Gideon is not like jacked enough, I feel like, in the cover art, because they describe her as being really
Agree.
Yeah.
I love Gideon so much. Normally like really kind of like recent like of its time memes in books really like take me out of the story and like it makes me cringe, but it works so well in Gideon because it's like it's not deliberately referenced, it's kind of just like sprinkled in and you almost like don't catch it sometimes. Like I think in the beginning, one of the beginning parts in Gideon where it talked about she studied the blade and I was like, I see what you did there. I don't know if you know that meme.
I don't think I do.
I think it was something like, it's like one of those like edgelord memes where I was like, while you were out having premarital sex, I studied the blade.
I'm looking it up, but I don't know if there's like a specific. Oh yeah. When you were partying, I studied the blade, the one you just said.
Yeah.
While you wasted your days at the gym in pursuit of vanity, I cultivated inner strength. That's pretty funny. But I need to reread the first one. I've been waiting for the next one to be announced so that I can just read through them all. But is the next one even going to be the last one? I don't know that it is.
Yeah. I think it's the next one is the fourth one, right? But I feel like yeah, it's not, there's not even a release date or anything yet, right?
Yeah, correct. As far as I know.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Okay, on the topic of slow burn yearning, Elle, you are not allowed to participate in this conversation. Sarah, the realm of the elderlings. I'm telling you. There is, okay, forget about Molly, okay? Molly out of the picture. But there is a relationship in Realm of the Elderlings that is, it's like full of yearning. It's like requited, but also unrequited. And it's full of angst. And it's like It's not a romance. It's a sub romantic context.
Here, I'm not participating, but I have a question. I'm trying not to give it away. Am I correct about this?
Yes. But it's the second series. It's mostly there's part of it in the first series. But
I have
mostly
read
it's
the
in
first 2.5 books.
I
Because I
basically push through.
I can't do it.
I'm not saying anything because I was told I couldn't. So
Your eyes say enough.
anyway, it's pretty late for you, isn't it?
It's 10:30.
Yeah, it's pretty late.
Oh.
Sean turns into a pumpkin roughly around 9 p.m. So he's flabbergasted that you're both still in human form.
Very flabbergasted.
We will probably let you go, seeing as it's been pretty close to 3 hours now. But I'm sure we will be chatting aplenty. You really need to get that 5th light novel right away so that
it says available soon. Okay, maybe I'll just buy the physical copy.
Yeah, I think so. And then Sarah, you got to get on this reread.
I know. I'm working on it.
And if anybody wants to read ahead so that they can talk to me, I really need to talk about volume 11.
No reading ahead.
Sean,
This
you still
is
want to be
your
left
penance.
behind. You don't want to be the only one who doesn't keep reading.
Exactly.
Yeah. And we do technically need to read through 8 and discuss that, but if one person also, if even one of you wants to keep going, it would be much appreciated. But also, I know everybody's busy. So,
What
anybody
if
have
we
any
all
last?
read ahead and then we end up just wanting to talk about the whole thing?
No, we have plenty to talk about.
Okay.
Okay, I promise there's plenty to talk about. There's plenty to talk about. I could list off a number of things, but I don't want to reveal it for you.
I second your promise.
I now feel like such an annoying, like, well, like, you know, the joke about people who have watched or who have seen, who have read the books before there's a movie, and they're like, and they're that annoying friend that you're like, shut up, we know that you know. I feel like that right now, so I'm so sorry.
That was how I felt before, though.
I feel like you handled it well. You just kind of sometimes just kept to yourself and maybe had the little eyes emoji looking off to it was just that on occasion. Meanwhile, I'm just begging someone to come join me. Sarah, you're already technically about 9 in. It wouldn't be that hard for you to do. I almost want you to go ahead and read ahead, like start where you left off, read ahead, and then go back and start from 5 so that we can both be like, how much was told to us about this in advance? Because there is something that I looked up the other day, as in like yesterday, and I was like, I feel like this was a clue way early for things to do. Sean, I'm not saying anything. Anyway, I couldn't have been more vague. You don't even know.
I'm gonna mute you.
Maybe if you listen, you wouldn't be a failure as a husband.
Yeah, maybe then Elle's head would tingle.
Yeah.
Her
One
whole
can dream.
My whole head.
Right.
Anyway, okay, actually gonna hop off now. Thanks for everybody who joined. And for anybody that watches later, happy reading or whatever you end up using the sprint for. Thanks as always to Christy and Sarah for staying up late to join us. And thanks, Sean, for coming straight from work to do some reading. It's much appreciated. But we'll see everybody later. Bye.